Good morning. I think it's April 28th. I need to look at the calendar. It's Wednesday morning for sure. I've been through my chores. I use the Navage system as well. I've been using it every morning. I'm really liking that system. I'm thinking it's the number one defense against the heavy metals and vaccines and plasmas and biologicals that they're spraying us with. I think they're spraying us with that stuff. I have no doubt about it. I remember when there were two different fleets of refueling tankers proposed. And at the time I thought they were just authorizing both because they were trying to pay off everybody in these congressional districts, so they built both sets of planes, sets of jets. Now I think that they did that so that they actually could ionize our atmosphere. So I think all those tankers were put to use, giving us air pollution, which we never had a say-so about. I apologize for not being present here the other mornings and other days. I've been training myself, actually, but my puppy dog, and working on those matters. She's coming along great. I'm a little slow, but I'm getting there, I think. I also was stymied because I really wanted to continue on with the Bible studies that came to this chapter in the book of Genesis that had all those genealogies, which are so boring, which actually have a lot of wealth in those, and just didn't know how to approach those. I also come across what I believe is an error in the Bible. I need to talk with the publisher and get a read on that. But it's a prepositional word, which is, they're saying that Nimrod was a mighty warrior before the Lord. And it's repeated again that he was a mighty warrior before God. The problem is that I think that Nimrod was a mighty warrior against God. I had a book by a famous psychologist, Karen Horney's book, and I had to toss out that classic book. I hope I saved it, but I never did get to read it, and it was basically orienting somebody to the simple prepositions if they're working with you, for you, against you, if they're communicating with you or against you and all that. And I had a dear friend who's always been going against me, and he wouldn't let me ask questions, just deriding me, trying to dominate. And I finally told him if he wants to laugh, if he doesn't care that I don't understand what he's talking about, doesn't want to talk about things, then call somewhere else. I hung up on him. I didn't like doing that, but I'm sorry. I do have hearing problems, and if I don't understand you and you're not going to let me ask questions so that I can understand you, then I'm not going to bother. I'm too old for that shit. Sorry. It's just the way it is. I'm getting up there, and I'm getting a little less patient and less tolerant. We were told for years to coexist and to be liberal with the liberals, and look at what it got us. Are they liberal with us? Do they try to coexist with us? Hell no. They're at war with us. I got another notice about psychologist reputation defender. They always want to charge me to remove some of this stuff from the internet. And to be frank with you, it has to do with the Arizona Board of Psychologist Examiners. To be real candid, I'm quite proud of that mess and proud of the record that they created for us. It's not just me, it's them too. And I'll be telling you the truth about that shit anyway. I mean, all I can say is stay away from me and my kind. Now, I think I'm okay, but they certainly aren't, because they're a bunch of libtards, and they're going to force you to adopt their ways. They're going to make you go against your values. They're going to belittle you and run over you, and they're going to pathologize you ultimately because you're a conservative. And that's just the way they are, a bunch of liberal jackasses. Now, when I was in undergraduate school, the professor I had said that 80% of the literature was biased, heavily biased. It was political. I dare say that 95% of literature is biased today. So it's all got a political agenda. So you can't trust the science in climate. You can't trust the science in anything. Certainly not in psychology. And these medical doctors, you know, I haven't been going after you medical doctors. I've mostly gone after you attorneys with hopes that you would straighten up and you would create the American Accreditation Registry and realize that we've got to get rid of the bar, the British Accreditation Registry, and that you might be able to abide by the actual law of the land, which is the original 13th Amendment. Folks didn't realize that it had been passed by 10 states, and that final state being the state of New Hampshire. I'm going to love it when they scream about, I didn't know. Well, ignorance of the law is what? What have you been telling us for 2 centuries? Ignorance of the law is no defense. Yes, Esquire, it's time you got your asses kicked. There's some good attorneys out there. I would have to say that it's a profession that's attracted Jewish people. That's okay. They can be ethical and they can be unethical. Be real careful to get an ethical attorney. That's the most important thing for you and for your interest. The interesting thing about Jewish people is that the Talmud, well, actually, it's the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud. I understand there's a story in there in which an attorney debates with God, goes toe-to-toe with God, and the attorney wins. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but I didn't make it up. And, of course, don't believe a word I say. Go look it up. If that's what it says, I'd like to find that story and read it for myself. I mean, it's got to be quite a story where an attorney beats God in a debate. I mean, that's something I want to see. I'd do a pay-per-view on that. It'd be good entertainment. It definitely would be an intellectual exercise. Oh, wow. I got a feeling that one of them probably did do it. Let's read the story sometime. But some of the other stuff in that book's pretty nasty and pretty vile. So I think it's a horrible book. And if you think that you're going to base a religion on that, folks, you better become aware of that. Now, I know a lot of you are upset with the Muslim Quran, but the Quran is like a child's book compared to the Babylonian Talmud. It happened in Babylon. They were okay before going to Babylon, but they didn't come out right from Babylon. So that's an important thing to recognize. And whenever anybody tells you that Moses was a Jew, they're lying bastards. There were no Jews back then. And so they try to get you confused between Jew and Hebrew. And it ain't an equivalent at all. And then for you folks out there that are saying that the Jews are all children of the devil, okay, I've hung out with you guys long enough, and I don't want you mad at me, but I have to tell you, from my reading of the Bible, in this last battle over Jerusalem, half the people are taken into captivity, the other half are killed. So that's everybody, but yet a residue remains, and Yahweh steps in and fights for that residue. So they've got to be okay. They've got to be just fine, nothing wrong with them. If you're always going to come out from retirement, so to speak, and go to battle like he did in the days of old, that's saying something. So there's good figs and there's bad figs, just like there's good Christians and bad Christians. And I don't give a damn what religion you are. They're all headed by a fallen angel. Pastor Wiki said that. I like his attitude and his perspective. And if you ever get over to Kazakhstan and go to the capital, you'll see a big round table in one of their central buildings. And you will see that every major religion has a place at that table. But at the center of that table is what they really worship, and that's the sun, Apollo. In the Bible, it's called Apollyon. You know, the fallen angel in the pit. I wonder if that pit is inside the sun. Or is it radiating from the center of the Milky Way galaxy? I like that guy, Suspicious Observer. I don't understand his stuff yet. The guy is brilliant. He's young. Very sharp. I haven't seen anything come from him that I just wasn't astounded by and that I couldn't agree with. There was no wiggle room for me to actually argue anything about his intelligence, his intellectual arguments. He runs circles around today's physicists, so no, you can't trust the physicist. But I think suspicious observer, Ben, I think he's all right. I haven't been keeping up with that stuff and getting into it either. I've been dealing with my own health stuff. I've sold one Bible, been trying to get that business off the ground. Now, I don't want you to send me money or donate money to me. I don't want your gifts. I don't like free stuff that much. To be honest with you, free stuff has always gotten me in trouble, so I do my best to avoid it. Now, when it's required or foisted off on me, like the federal government's checks, yeah, I took those. I invested it wisely. Unfortunately, because they had inflated the money supply so much, what I bought into was already inflated as well. So I didn't make the best purchases, but I did okay. And by the way, that $1,400 check that came out from the federal government, there was a reason it was $1,400. And allow me to share this with you. That, I believe, was the going price to buy a baby, a child, in child trafficking. Now, don't take my word for it, but I think that's why they gave us $1,400, because that's what the market rate was at the time for those children. I don't know any more details than that. I think it's miserable. I'd definitely be giving up $1,400 to save each one of them. Well, there's no dollars around. You people who say they're worried about the money, don't worry about the money. There is no money. You want to know what money is? Read your Bible. It's in there. The Bible will teach you what money is. You have to read it for yourself. I'm not going to explain it to you. It's pretty simple. They stole all the money. They stole everything, including you and me. All of our institutions. Everything is bought off, including our Supreme Court justices. The Chi-Coms have gotten into everything. They've infiltrated everywhere. I wouldn't mind sending them all home just so we don't have to sort them out and we can just be done with them. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some real good people among them. But I also remember that in the Bible it is foretold that every man will return to his own land. Now, I don't know what that means. Excuse me. Return to his own land. And I also want to remind you that in the days of Peleg, in the Bible it says that's when the peoples or the lands were separated. That's an important entry. That might have been from a previous Earth age. I think some of the stuff in Genesis might be from previous Earth ages. For instance, the founding of the city Nineveh, I think that's survived a couple of Earth ages maybe. Baalbek has survived a couple of Earth ages for sure. And some of these other structures have survived Earth ages. Earth ages, 12,000 years, 6,000 years, 3,000 years, 1,500 years. These are the cycles, and they break down even smaller than that. And we have a map from the 1500s showing Antarctica completely bare. The cartographer mapped all of the lakes, all the mountains, the rivers, mapped everything in Antarctica, and you sure as hell can't do that when it's covered in ice. So Antarctica goes ice-free on a regular basis. It also appears as though the Earth goes on its axis 90 degrees so that the poles come up to the equators and things shift around. I can't tell you how that happens. I don't know when it happens. Ben at Suspicious Observer says that we're going to have an incident during our lifetimes and 10 to 50% of us will die in his estimation. I think that's rather nice. The guy at Magnetic Reversal News, a bit of a jackass pothead, said I was fake news when I gave valid testimony on a archaeological site he was covering in New Mexico. What a jackass he is. He claimed that as few as 10,000 or 30,000 of us survived. He also says that the earth does not tilt very much. Um, and from what I can tell, the core and the mantle and the crust can have separated. And right now the Earth's rotation is accelerating, it's speeding up. Everybody's in agreement on that. I was watching a video about Trump's presentation right after the election, and I didn't care for what I saw. I didn't like the man. His presentation let me know he was one of them, wasn't one of us. Now God can use one of them just fine. Yahweh can put one of those for us just fine. But I don't worship the man at all. He's one of them. He's a part of that giant play, that shit show in D.C. He's probably the best actor. Probably the star of the show, actually. The way they have it mapped out. But that's advanced Bible stuff, and I only talk about that stuff with my brothers whom I trust and can talk intimately, because they're the only ones that are ready to hear that and consider it. And we haven't made any determination. So there's problems. There are serious problems. However, all secrets will be revealed. One other reason I don't care for the man Trump very much is he promised he was going to open up the records, declassified, which according to law was supposed to be declassified way back in October during his presidency. All those records were scheduled to be declassified, and Trump wouldn't do it. And I heard a story that Trump said he couldn't do it because it would have demolished the current government. Hey, buddy. Hey, Trump. I'm all for it. You should have lived up to your word. You rotten son of a bitch. You could have saved our nation from a lot of trouble by taking down this unconstitutional, illegal occupation of the United States of America by a foreign power today. But he's beholden to those cats just like everybody else is in D.C. I really wanted to do more Bible reading and Bible study, but they aren't getting many views, which is not a good thing. I think I will. I'd like to help the truckers out, and I know you guys spend a lot of time, and you need to be able to listen to things to stay awake and alert sometimes. So I will read the Bible. I will do a chapter at a time, book at a time. I will break it down and make it easy for you, and I'll do my best to just read straight from the Bible without commenting, so that you get the Bible as it's written. You don't need my comments. I'm not getting any feedback on my comments. I don't know if you like them or not. The air conditioner's running. It touched 100 degrees in Phoenix yesterday. Almost that warm out here in the desert. I'm not happy with this cell phone, and it's the latest and greatest Samsung, and I'm not happy with this headset, and it's the latest and greatest from Bose. They work okay, but they're not quite working the way I need them to. So let me know if you hear this all right. I have trouble getting the software launched and Bluetooth set up properly. I'm not happy. Well, the Bose comes with a cable, and I think there's a little tiny micro jack on it so you can plug everything in. But the Samsung phone has no headphone, hardwire jack for a headphone, and that's what I want. I'm on the waiting list, and I can get out of this phone at the end of 6 months, which of course means going into debt more. But you're worth it. My mission's worth it. But Samsung really upsets me because everybody knows, and it took me asking a lot of questions from experts. The wired headphone is the only way to go for true fidelity. So I want a wired headphone, and I tried to hook this thing up from its this headphone up from its C-style USB-C port into this C-style USB port on my phone, and I got to call the people at Bose. I couldn't make it work. I'm not happy with these things that they sell us that really aren't up to par. Bose needs to be more honest with us. They need to do a better interface, make a better product. They don't seem to understand their product very well, in my opinion. And Samsung, when I call them up with a problem on my phone, they go right to, is it insured? Yeah. Oh, you'll have to mail it back to us. Yeah, right. I'm sorry, Samsung, but that's a sorry-ass way to go with your flagship phone. That is a terrible way to treat your customers. I hate Apple. Apple's evil. They spy on us way too much. Samsung spies on us. All the big telephone services spy on us. They all have junction switches, and in case you're wondering, they have secret contracts with the United States government. So it's your cell phone carrier that does the analysis. They monitor your email, and they monitor your cell calls, and they process that stuff under contract. And under contract, even the government can't admit to the existence of this contract. But in our contract, they're making a lot of money, and they're the ones spying on you. So T-Mobile, I'm pretty sure it does the same. Not real positive, but I think T-Mobile's big enough to do it. You know, definitely your AT&T's been doing it for before there were cell phones. And then of course Verizon, they do it as well. And I'll never forget Motorola's motto of intelligence everywhere. Yeah, we spy on you everywhere in every way. You'll never be alone. I got a lot I got to take care of and work on here. I'll try to get more videos out there. I'm not getting quite enough likes or quite enough much feedback. I got some jackasses trying to harangue me. I'm just not going to respond to short messages, short comments. That's all the way it is. At some point, I probably will disable the comments altogether. But until then, take advantage of it. I read them all. I might be a little late to the party, but I get there eventually. So I'll sort things out. I'll figure things out. I won't respond to all of those comments, but some I'll endorse. I am looking at another rig, so hopefully it'll be quieter than this one. Anyway, it won't be brand new, that's for sure. It's going to be old and used and, you know, probably discontinued, but it'll be something that I can live with. Like this, they stopped making this 28T a long time ago. It's real sad because this is like the little sports car of motorhomes. I mean, it's the shortest thing, no slides, it's pretty damn light. Gets good fuel efficiency. You know, I load it down, full water, full gas, and I get 9 miles a gallon pretty much no matter what I do with it. I think it's going to be a good rig for somebody because I put all kinds of money into this. Last year I put $7,000 alone into it. All right, folks, I'm wearing out. I don't have any more for you today. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.